So I watched this Candace Owens documentary. Documentaries are fucking they should be illegal.
Dude,
Documentaries should be illegal.
100%.
You should need like FDA approval for
a license or something.
It's
Bro, you need to
brainwashing.
be licensed for it. That's way more dangerous than a gun.
I agree.
Don't let people do documentaries. Give everybody a gun. No documentaries.
I
America
agree.
will be fine.
I agree. I don't trust documentaries because you have however many hours of footage you edited down into the most 90 convincing minutes you possibly have of just your side. No documentaries like, hey, one side says this and the other side says this, and you pick your own truth and see what it is. This is the facts. 90 minutes back to back, edited down.
Oh, and they got
hundreds
music.
of hours of footage.
There's music involved.
Let's take the 90 most crack minutes, the most fentanyl minutes, and put them into that 90 right there.
100%. And to also, when I was getting all the backlash on Instagram or YouTube or even DMs and shit, they were saying all these things, and this happens all the time when like people have like these fringe ideas, right? Yeah. It's like they know so much about their fringe idea that you don't know, so there's nothing you can say, right? Like when people talk about UFOs and that kind of shit, they're like, well, technically the way that the flight pattern was going, I don't know about flight patterns.
Yeah.
You're right. You can say anything to me that you know more about than me.
9/11.
And I can't push back.
I'm not a structural
The
engineer.
beams of the thing, and what am I supposed to say? No, that's not how beams are.
Yeah.
Right?
I might be onto something.
Exactly. So, that shit might have been, bro.
That is,
You know, if Candace Owens put out a 9/11 documentary, I believe in 9/11.
Yeah. Wait, you don't believe in it now?
Honestly, before 9/11, it went 9/10, 9/12. Now, I believe in 9/11 100%. So Candace made me believe in numbers, bro. So she puts out this documentary, right? And her point of the documentary was, and also I blame Dave Chappelle for this shit, because she was like, I wasn't gonna do this until it became personal. And she played that Dave Chappelle clip of saying she got a stank pussy mad times in the documentary.
Okay.
And I think that hit her, bro.
Okay.
I do think, because that's for women, that's, you know what I mean? Especially if they got stinky pussies, that's a real fucking issue.
has to
Like,
have a stink pussy.
I'm not saying she does. Don't make me a documentary. I'm not saying she does. I think that shit smells great.
I think it stinks.
think that shit-
I think it stinks allegedly.
You think it stinks allegedly?
Yes.
Well, there was one allegation thrown out there.
Yeah.
Okay? And she makes this documentary. And the idea of the documentary is essentially that Black Lives Matter is a scam, a fraudulent organization.
Not the craziest theory I've ever heard in my life.
Now, there's a lot of evidence to prove that is true now, okay? If you watch that documentary, you will believe it, bro. Dude, yo, they got $90 million. They're giving $2.5 million to like Toronto trans organizations, right? They're giving millions of dollars to the Friends. Like this woman, Patrice Cullors, who runs the organization, right?
Fuck that bitch.
Say it with your chest.
Fuck that bitch. She set back the movement decades, bro.
Yo, because
fuck that ass bitch. Straight up. Yo, I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you.
You're allowed to say it. Yeah. No, you're good.
Yo, what do you want to do, bro? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Wait, let me cook up. I hate that bitch, though. I hate her more than Candace Owens.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I see that.
I understand the frustration because what Al, you even texted the group, she set back the Black empowerment movement decades because it's going to be very hard for the average person that donated to this thing to believe in the future that the same thing won't happen, right? So I understand that completely, right? But so what she's doing is she's exposing later on in the documentary, she's like where all the money goes. She's like tracking it because you have to file these IRS reports, right? So you can see where the money goes if you're a charity. You don't have to pay taxes, but you got to show what you're spending the money on.
Right.
So they're going like, she hires her brother to do, she has baby daddy to do security. She has her brother to do the video stuff, which we would all do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. We would, like, I give a little bit of pushback on that regard. Like, if you got $90 million, I'm gonna hire y'all. Do you know what I'm saying? Akash is the head of, I don't know, haircuts or something. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, you're gonna throw
about
the money around.
$1.5 million a year for that job.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna throw the money around. But at least when you get caught throwing money around to the homies, you just go, you got me, yo.
Yeah.
They still play the victim. I'm being attacked. I can't believe Candace Owens is out here doing all this shit. So I could see the frustration with that, especially with the people who already didn't fuck with Black Lives Matter. So if you already don't fuck with Black Lives Matter and you see that the organization was involved in some scammy shit, now you're like, see, I was fucking
She was
right.
living in like a $5 million house.
Oh, they bought property everywhere.
Yeah, mad properties,
Can't
5
even
houses.
say Black Lives
They
Matter
got a show
now.
coming out of Home and Garden.
What?
Yeah, they got a Flip It show.
There's no way.
No, they gotta.
That flip.
That's fucked up, yo. Yo, they're gonna have Mexicans doing the renovations in the fields and shit like that.
You didn't
Fuck,
know that?
bro.
No, they got a bunch of trans coming in and building that shit mad quick.
Shit,
No,
flip it up.
No, that's
flip it up.
empowering. That's empowering.
Yo, but the
Flip
shitty
it and
part,
snip it.
the shitty part, you can't even say Black Lives Matter without giving the disclaimer. It's like, oh, I'm talking about the movement, not the organization. Like, that shit
Yeah, they
sucks.
fucked the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, so you see all that. That's very convincing and also very frustrating, right? There's the George Floyd part. And her issue with George Floyd, she says that it's fentanyl that killed George Floyd. That's what she's saying. And then there's a lot of people who haven't even watched the documentary. They just fucking heard that narrative and they're just running with it. And it's so obvious now I've seen the documentary, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the big issues I'm learning are now is the way that Chauvin had his knee on Floyd's neck, he wouldn't be able to choke him out. Now, yeah, that makes sense. You're not gonna choke somebody by putting your knee on the back of their neck. You've never seen anybody do that in fucking jujitsu, right? You choke somebody by going like this and pulling, right? So what people are jumping in that and go, well, I guess he must have died because of the fentanyl. And we're gonna get to another point that I wanna get to in a second. Now, did he have fentanyl in the system? Yes. They also say, and they pick up the most specific words. They're like, he had a lethal amount of fentanyl in the system. You don't know what's lethal to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, we were at Burning Man. There's a lot of people who had lethal amounts of drugs in their system.
Yes.
It did absolutely fucking nothing for a week.
100%,
You don't know what's lethal to this man.
These
okay?
guys probably love rock music, and like Keith Richards has done a lethal amount of every drug.
Exactly. Especially if you are a user, your tolerance is going to be way higher. So you don't know exactly what it is. And furthermore, these are the same motherfuckers that during COVID, they were like, oh, they're over-reporting the amount of COVID deaths. You know, you're old and you die and you have COVID in your system, it's because of COVID. You have a heart attack and you die because you have COVID in your system, it's COVID. They blamed everything, remember? They're like, this is the government, they're over-reporting it, they want us to be scared, etc. If you have COVID in your system, doesn't mean it's a COVID death. There are other comorbidities that could have killed you. And the second fentanyl is in George Floyd, but that's the only way that motherfucker could have died.
It's a fentanyl death.
It's a fentanyl death. If you got fentanyl in your system and
It's
a
a
guy
fentanyl
fucking
death.
sits on your neck for 8 minutes straight while you say you can't breathe, it must be fentanyl. That's the only reason.
That's a heat-ass point.
All I'm saying is, so keep that same energy up. One of those, you got to take all that shit back about the COVID deaths and say the government's 100% right on that, which I know none of y'all will do. Pussies, your mother's nose in my asshole.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Or you got to say you're full of shit with this fentanyl thing, which you are. Now, I think that fentanyl does play a part in it. So George Floyd had this enlarged heart. With an enlarged heart, you need, he had this other fucking thing, I don't know, I'm not a goddamn scientist, we can look it up. But basically, it's harder to get oxygen to your system. When you've got a guy compressing you, he didn't die from being choked, he died, I think, from a pulmonary heart attack, or cardiopulmonary some fucking shit.
I want anybody to breathe with a grown-ass man putting all his fucking weight on your fucking back, scapula, whatever the fuck
And
they
he's
said,
hyperventilating
for 8
'cause
minutes. And he was already complaining about that he couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, the guy broke all protocol because whenever you're arresting somebody, if they talk about, hey, I'm having health issues, you're supposed to treat that. He didn't even try acknowledge it at all.
100%.
And the guy George Floyd, there was a point where he wasn't even moving for a long period of that time.
Yep.
So there's no point to have your body on him to restrain him anymore. You only do that just to make sure if he's
And
trying
you're
to
saying this
resist.
because you've been in law enforcement and you know the actual rules, just to put this out there.
Sorry. So,
no, I'm not saying, this is good that you put it out there. What you're saying is this is what you were trained to do when you had to resist people.
So it's like we were taught that, yes, the knee on more so like the back area to just, if somebody's trying to resist. The moment they stop resisting, now you take the pressure off.
Right, exactly. Now, they're going to make the argument that he was resisting. He was resisting tons throughout it, and I'm not going to discredit that. But what's very interesting to me is if you're purely looking at him being choked with the knee, of course you're going to disregard the whole thing and say it must be fentanyl. If you're looking at a guy who isn't able to get the amount of oxygen that he needs in his system because of a heart issue as well, and you're applying pressure on him while he's on the ground, restricting the amount that his lungs can move, that's what leads to the death. You know that game, I don't know if you guys play this when you're kids, but like you go up against a wall, you put your arms like this, you take a few deep breaths, and then your friend pushes on your chest, and then you pass out. We literally did this game as children. And what do? You pass the fuck out. Now imagine you just kept doing that for 8 minutes straight. You don't just pass the fuck out. You die. Okay? Your mother.
What about their mothers?
You know what about their mothers?
I forgot.
You know, I gotta help her up after she sucked my dick from the back.
Okay, got it. That's suck my dick from the back. I forgot.
Are you on your knees if they're sucking from the back, or are you just
No, I'm bent over.
Okay.
I'm bent over responding to the comments. Okay. Yo, ask where your mom is at. Anyway, so yeah, that's my reaction to that. And what I would say to anybody who commented or anybody who's seeing it, go watch the documentary that you suggest. Just simply go watch it.
Yeah.
And find out the exact cause of death. They're going off the bullshit narratives as well. What I will say this is the way that the mainstream media reacted to it was to call it a choke. They used this language and they didn't describe what happened in the most honest way, which left the room for other interpretation.
Right.
If they were just honest about it, like, listen, this guy had a large heart, he had fentanyl in his system, which is gonna increase not only blood pressure, but your level of excitedness or whatever, and cause you to have more anxiety. And when you have more anxiety, you need more oxygen in your system. And he doesn't have the heart that can kind of pump that through. So, but the main catalyst is this grown man fucking laying on you. Yeah. Right? So it's like, if you just simply laid it out like that, now of course they don't want to lay it out with that because they have one narrative they want to push.
Right.
So I'm all about you going, hey, fuck, the mainstream media can choose a narrative and then run with it no matter what. We've seen this happen time and time again. But to act like the opposite of that narrative is true simply because we know the mainstream media can put out falsities is also bullshit.
Yeah, this isn't the example to prove that with.
Exactly.
Because then you're going with the alternative that he was killed by fentanyl and he just wasn't.
Exactly. Did it play a part? Sure. You don't know how much.
Yeah.
And Candace acts like she knows how much. You never done fentanyl.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
he died on May 25th. Would he have made it through May 25th, 2020 had there not been someone's knee on this?
yeah. I mean, even one of the corners that they try to use the thing that he says for like the opposite information. They're like, he goes, was there a lethal amount of fentanyl in him? He goes, I would blame this death on fentanyl if he was just at his home doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they tried to use that as a way to score points for them.
Yeah, I
no
know.
dummies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There were points in that doc that like
They refuted it and they didn't realize it.
Or were they trying to be balanced?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh yeah, Candace Owens. Yeah.
There's nothing balanced about that doc.
The guy saying I can't breathe because he's claustrophobic. That's what claustrophobia is.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
That's the whole
I
thing.
will say that George Floyd did do some shit that didn't make no sense.
Like what?
When they pulled him out of a car and they tried to put him in the back of a car and then he was like, I can't go in a car, I'm claustrophobic.
Nah, son.
I was like, well, you was just in a car.
Nah, you just feel trapped, bro. That cage there, your hands are behind your back. You just feel like I can't get out of here. If it's my car, I get up, walk out, no problem. If I'm stuck in this squad car in a fucking cage, you're just freaking out.
I see what you're saying. It's not car to car.
I know because I'm claustrophobic, homosexual as well.
Cross diagnosis?
No. My claustrophobia is my homosexuality, but
Because the closet is so small.
And I can get an elevator with all y'all, but if I got an elevator and it stopped for 30 seconds, I would freak the fuck out like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like you would all lose respect for me forever. If you had it to begin with, it'd be gone
really?
forever.
Yeah.
Freak the fuck out.
Oh, this is so much more fun.
So just
Somebody please hit the. We gotta hit the alert.
I got stuck on
emergency
a train for 50 minutes in between stations, and then like the doors are locked, so you can't go in between.
Yeah.
I was falling apart. I had no cell phone service. I was just fucking sitting here, diabetic next to me, pissing on the train. At one point, I'm like, in this New York, they don't give a fuck. I'm like, guys, are we gonna get the fuck out of here? And everybody's like, this motherfucker. God damn,
That's
dude.
why you got to ride on the top, dude.
That's why we do that, yo.
telling you,
That's
bro.
why we do that.
No
FTP
claustrophobia.
yo.
Let's go.
That's how we do that shit. I'm comfy on top.
Exactly.
I need the air in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Fucking great.
But I don't get the implication of this. People are like, oh, are they trying to say that Chauvin should not get the charges that he got?
Oh, son, the funniest part is before that,
Yes,
I would
they
never
are.
know him to do anything like this. Don't they say that about every murderer in every fucking documentary you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, I don't think that his intention that day was to go out and kill somebody.
no, I agree.
I don't believe
I
it.
agree.
Here's what his charges were. They were second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's.
I think that we can all agree that those are accurate.
So if we acknowledge George Floyd had a large heart and fentanyl in the system and was also had a guy's knee on his neck, does that change?
And even call it back. People go, oh, the knee on the...
That's what I'm saying. I'll even.
It don't matter. He
Right.
had weight on him
on his
while
lungs.
his chest was on the ground.
Yes.
Right.
Do you remember when I was in the fucking, when we were at a Shifty's party at Six Flags and they put the goddamn roller coaster shit too tight?
Mm-hmm.
I made them stop the thing and open it because I couldn't breathe. I'm like George Floyd.
Yeah.
It's to me, it was to me.
Hey, we are George Floyd. dude.
Akash being on a completely empty subway and whether they would stop for 3 minutes, that's like George Floyd.
Exactly.
50.
50
It's a
minutes.
long time not able to breathe.
I'm just telling you, Al, what? You're having a hard time digesting this. I know. Listen, without the fentanyl, these things are
He's
difficult.
just jealous because he's not George Floyd.
That's
You know what
true.
I mean? He's just jealous.
She put that shit down on my nuts. I was George Floyd too, bro.
Yo,
I was George Floyd too, bro.
Al doesn't have to worry about any more abortions, bro. 'Cause he got his dick was crushed and he was whining the whole time.
The payback.
Let's talk about that. But do you want to button up this topic?
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
else?
So I want to say one thing. There were mad people that reached out and they're like, yo, Schulz, I think you got this one wrong. They're like, yo, Schulz, I fuck with you. I think you got this one wrong. I respect that. I respect that because that means that you actually ride with us, you like what we do, and you like what we put out, and we have a difference of opinion, which is great. We could have a difference of opinion every single fucking day.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
like
care.
feet in a weird way.
Exactly.
And I don't agree with that.
And you're stupid for that. But
I don't think
I
that's true.
accept you for that.
Right, I
But
accept
you're
you and
fucking
your feet
dumb
thing.
for that.
I accept you and your weird,
you're
gross.
dumb for that.
Your
100%.
yeah.
I was looking at your feet yesterday inside the back.
he was. That shit was mad weird. We're in the.
Yo, he had his feet next to his face like
So
this.
why you looking, bro?
Because his shit looked like statue feet, bro. He has some nice star. He has some nice. I almost said Star of David. Statue of David.
You would, yo. You
I
would.
would. I'm part of the Jewish media.
Yeah.
He tried to compliment me in not a gay way. He like was thinking it so hard, like how to say it.
It wasn't a compliment. It was a fact. Your feet are statue. Bust your feet out right now and look up a goddamn statue.
No, you gotta pay for that.
No way, no.
He got statue feet. I don't think statues got the nicest feet, frankly.
Oh, so,
Frankly.
So it's a compliment or it's not?
I mean, he got some Allison Hightowers. You know what I mean? He got some Allison Hightowers. You know what I mean? He was coming with the green coats. He got some green coats, bro. That's all I gotta say. But to button this up, I appreciate y'all who all said that because it's okay. We're okay with disagreeing, and you understand what we're trying to do with these jokes. Everybody who used this as an opportunity to just try to dunk on me so you could impress your little echo chamber, you're not fans of what I do. You're not fans of this podcast. Go fuck yourselves. This is not for you at all, okay? You might have agreed with us on some other points. Go suck dicks. And if you can't, I nominate your mother as tribute.
Yes. Fucking
Okay? Now,
Like a pinch
what
hitter?
else we got?
A pinch hitter for sucking dick? Is that
Yeah,
what you
pinch
want?
hitter for sucking dick. 100%. And your
shit,
mother
let's
would be a
go.
great pinch hitter for sucking dick.
Glock, glock.
But Candace Owens, I don't want no smoke with you, lady. Yo, that lady is wild, bro. If
Yeah.
she sink her teeth in you,
Oh, you're fucked.
it's a problem. She's
Yeah,
Valerian the Dread, bro. Yo, nerd asses don't even know that.
Nope.
In your gyms with your Mountain Dew. You know what I mean? Y'all don't even know all the dragons, bro. Candace Owens is Valerian the Dread, bro.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, damn, dude, I cut what I said about this bitch a couple seconds ago.
right?
I love
she
Candace.
don't
I got
play.
nothing bad to say about
Whoa,
her. Okay?
whoa,
Respect.
whoa.
Weird.
Respect to Candace, dude.
That's
really?
weird.
Yes,
Bro.
100%. Don't hurt me,
weird.
So you
Candace
like
Owens.
everything that she does? You stand behind it?
Just don't hurt me, please.
He's the reason why we got these fucking Nazis listening to this goddamn podcast, bro.
Oh no, that's both of y'all. Y'all be trying to one up each other on this shit. Yeah, red pill bullshit.